We have got to talk about AJ Brown setting off a firestorm. And here's the thing, the tweet itself, do I think he should have done it? No, I think you got to keep that stuff in-house. You create problems, but especially when it's Philadelphia, you have to know, as we all do, that the national sports media that covers football, really covers sports, but covers football, hates Philadelphia, and they're going to use every opportunity they can to trash this team and cause problems. So we're going to talk a little bit about the reaction from the Three Stooges, also known in this case as Cam Newton, Michael Irvin, and Chad Ochocinco, as well in terms of their reaction to AJ Brown and the kind of drama that they are stirring up and hopefully causing a rift. Now, hopefully not from my perspective, but theirs, obviously. But if you are enjoying the content, do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. I think we're like 20 plus videos in at this point. Just hit over 400 subscribers. Really working hard to try and get to that 1,000. Seems like that cool number where the channel actually has some legitimacy. So please subscribe if you're enjoying it. I do appreciate it. First thing we're going to listen to is Cam Newton. This is some wild stuff we got to talk about from Cam the Clown.
For A.J. Brown. And we've seen this time and time again. But this is the thing winning has been the only cure to muzzling him. When you see tweets, when you see open dialogue of saying what we should be doing here is, and obviously when you start to see book reading, you want to say, you don't read books.
Anyone feel like listening to that, watching that Cam Newton's the guy that never got out of grade school, right? He was the guy that thought it was cool to pick on the kids that actually wanted to study and get good grades. You sound like an absolute moron here, Cam. Grow up, my friend.
So it's like, hold on. He's trying to say without saying, I'm not happy here. And there's been time and time again, we've seen this with A.J. Brown. But this is the reality, too, where it's hard for you not to say as a fan, as an observer of the game, to say he's not capable. He's shown what you could do versus the Los Angeles Rams. He's shown that he's still a dominant receiver. And what we do know as players is you don't get this time back. You don't get these opportunities to prove why you're top tier or why you're one of the best that's doing it. So for A.J. Brown, he can't say much because they're winning. If they were losing, you would definitely be in the double situation where it's like, okay, we're losing and he's frustrated. He's obviously frustrated, but we're winning. And that's the thing that they've always had the issue with over this stretch, in Philadelphia. A.J. Brown is obviously not happy. Or
Obviously not happy. First, I got to say, by the way, Cam, this time that we don't get back, maybe that should have been on your mind when you decided not to try and recover a fumble for your team. I'm just saying, maybe you'd be a Super Bowl champion at this point. But also one thing I want to point out here, because as you got there at the end where he tried to make it seem like AJ Brown has never been happy in Philadelphia, AJ Brown has never been productive in Philadelphia. Forget the fact that it's Philadelphia's where he's been an all-pro. But we'll just take a quick look at this and just go through the years in Philly, right? First year here, 88 catches, 1,496 yards, by far a career high, 11 TDs. The next year, 106 catches, 1,456 yards, another 7 TDs. The next year, 1,079 yards, but he did that in only 13 games. Okay, so yeah, you see the drop in receptions down to 67. The yards per reception compared to the year before went up, still got 7 TDs, played 4 fewer games. And yeah, this season, not off to a good start at all, folks. For the offense in general, I think we're all after the second half of the Buccaneers game, we're all back to calling for the firing of the offensive coordinator because it was an absolute disaster. That is what we saw out there in that game. And to that point, just quick side note on that because is I thought this was interesting for most of the Eagles tweets, right? We got Brian Johnson, you can see got 4 receivers all running the same route. Kellen Moore, 4 receivers, and they're all sitting down in the same place, basically next to each other, and Kevin Patullo, and it's all like, why do we have these guys who cannot design a play to get a wide receiver like AJ Brown open. And that I think is what also is really, really important to understand. That tweet, that cryptic tweet that AJ put out that made it seem like he was wanted out of Philadelphia. Look, first I will say this. Love AJ Brown. I wish he wouldn't do stuff like that. I wish that's the type of thing you would keep in-house, go talk to whomever it is directed I'm guessing maybe the offensive coordinator. I really don't think it's directed toward Jalen Hurts. I don't think what we're seeing with AJ Brown not getting the football has to do with Jalen Hurts, and I think it has to do with a lot of the route running, in terms of the play calling. Looking at that game, you saw I think there was maybe one throw that was bad by Jalen Hurts. There was one on the long ball. I think it was the first deep one where AJ Brown stopped. And I think if he keeps going, that he catches that ball. It's the one he got his hands on. And then there were a few others where it looked like they decided, well, we're going to get AJ involved and we're going to force it to him, but we're not going to run routes that got him any separation on the defenders at all. The defenders were sitting down on it. They weren't threatened at all about him going over the top, and that's a whole nother issue. So there's absolutely things that have to be fixed. There's no doubt about that. But then we have Michael Irvin. That's the Cam. We have Michael Irvin now. He wants to pile on y'all. Y'all Eagles fans will get a kick out of this.
Love Sam and these guys set it up so perfectly to help prove the point that I have been making. So you guys on this set will say you're going to take Jalen Hurts over other people or over Dak Prescott. I don't think his own receiver saying I won't take him over Dak Prescott. That's what AJ Brown is saying right here. You see what I'm
Oh
saying?
my God.
He's
It's I'll take a deep breath because I could go on a serious rant. This is absolutely nonsense. The ESPN, how far the mighty ESPN has fallen. And by the way, I cut some of it out so we didn't have to sit here and listen to a lot of gibberish. That is Michael Irvin responding. That is after that Cam Newton bit that we saw that was a little longer, following up on that with this absolute gibberish. If you couldn't hear well, because I know he's got one of those types of voices with his inflection sometime. There's a little bit of an echo, but here we go. People get up and say, I'd take Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott, but now we see, I don't think his own wide receiver would take him over Dak. They're going to say, Michael, how could you say I'd take Dak over Jalen Hurts? How can I? His own damn receiver is saying it. And if you heard there, he said, that's what AJ's saying. And again, that is not at all what AJ Brown was saying in the tweets, but we got to get the Cowboy because everybody loves Dak. Dak's a stat guy, right? He puts up those numbers. He gets those Cowboys get behind double digits, and Dak just starts throwing the ball all over the field. And all of a sudden, his terrible game at the end of the day looks good, like he put up big numbers, and the Cowboys get themselves another loss. But of course, we're going to have the media, we're going to have ESPN, we're going to have all these people causing problems, wanting to get a rift between AJ Brown and the Eagles, especially between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, because none of that was directed at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not calling the plays. The route designs are not Jalen Hurts. This is all about the offensive coordinator and AJ Brown as well. And Chad had to get into this, which I think exposed him. And a lot of wide receivers. I think we all know there are a lot of wide receivers like this, which is why Devontae Smith is such a breath of fresh air. The guy would be a number one on so many teams, and he just goes out and does his job. And here's Chad on AJ Brown. Do you understand what that does to players mentally? I don't think fans understand. Yes, they won the game, but players want to contribute and help to win those said games. He's been telling us this for years now. Last year he was reading his book. You're paying me 33 million. Not only am I the number one wide receiver, I'm the captain of the team for a reason. Allow me to be part of the offense. Again, now I just went through all these numbers, right? Almost 1,500 yards, almost 1,500 yards again, almost 1,100 yards playing four fewer games. So, production was right about the same. And then, yes, now this season has been an absolute disastrous start with the play calling, and it is almost criminal on for Kevin to Patullo to not be able to scheme AJ Brown open. But then we got Chad basically kind of reiterating what Cam Newton is saying, as if this has been a problem all along. As if AJ Brown is this uber talented receiver. He is, by the way. I'm not. Don't get me wrong there. But to say like he has been suffering in Philadelphia and not getting the ball is absolutely absurd. He's got 3 seasons in Philly that were better than all three of his seasons in Tennessee. Okay. And this is his fourth season in Philly, so this could turn around as well. I think we all realize that. Now, again, one thing I will say a little bit, I don't like that AJ put this out there because this is the result that we get, right? And then this becomes the conversation. Not that, yeah, look, there's some stuff that's got to be fixed, but again, we went 4-0 in a bit of the schedule that I think even a lot of us Eagles fans thought, oh man, if we can go 3-1 or maybe even 2-2 in this tough stretch, starting with the divisional opponent and then these three playoff teams from last year, Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City, going back down to Tampa again, and all that. The Rams, which we know they are going to be a tough team come playoff time, despite the fact that we've been beating them recently. So to have gone 4-0 in that stretch, even with the problems, is a big deal. Now we've overshadowed that. We've overshadowed things like the way Mitchell played and so forth, and other issues as well, like getting the run game fixed. So that's been a bit of an issue as well that we haven't really talked about too much. So and finally to that with what and Chad said this, not AJ, but yeah, he's a captain, right? So exactly, he's a captain. I don't think we needed this tweet out there is all I'm saying, AJ, because here's the firestorm we get. You know Philly loves you. You know Philly loves the way you play. You know they love the heart and the toughness and the passion that you bring every single time that you go out to compete. The inspiration that you bring to all these people, the joy and the love that you bring to the city, that you get back from the city. I get it, man. It's tough. And the fans are on your side. And I think Jalen Hurts is on your side. This has been a disaster with the offense outside of the second half against the Rams, which is absolute necessity. And the first half of this game, although you weren't even really a part of that, which was another thing that was kind of interesting. But we get it, man. We know you're hungry. We know you want to go out and make big plays and be part of the success. And the Philly fans absolutely have your back. 100%. So it's going to happen. It's going to bust out. Changes are going to have to be made. I think they will be made. The Eagles are going to keep rolling. And A.J. Brown, you are going to be a big part of that success this season. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Smash the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. I do appreciate it. I will talk to you in the next video.